So, welcome everyone to my YouTube live. So, first off, I hope you can hear me okay. I've been having a little bit of mic troubles. I'm hoping to get a new mic setup eventually. But okay, yeah. So, this stream, it is all about how to actually play solo TTRPGs. So finally, you have made it to this part of my content. Okay, so sounds okay, sounds good. Okay, cool, great. I really hope in the new year I can save up and get a way better mic. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay, so we will begin. So welcome everyone. If you have been following my channel, I do literally all things solo. So from board games to Magic the Gathering and then to tabletop RPGs. But as you know, my YouTube is focused on specifically tabletop RPGs. And I feel like YouTube has finally understood kind of what I'm doing. I was trying really hard to feed the algorithm of what I'm trying to put out there. So if the algorithm has brought you here, welcome, my friends. Oh, Moses, thank you so much. No worries, but thank you for the support as always. I really appreciate you. And you have also been such a great friend of mine too, and a really fun online friend. So thank you so much for all the help, support, and friendship. So I hope you have a good night. Okay, so for people that are here now, we are going to cover how to actually play tabletop RPGs solo. And I was trying to draw something because usually I like to doodle a little imagery that kind of relates to the topic. But I gave up, and instead I actually whipped out an old art piece that I drew. And so for tonight's imagery, we have here a solo adventure. You can see they are going through the green hills and they're trying to get across to the mountains. And I was kind of thinking maybe there is, I don't know, maybe there's a town that they're trying to get to that is past the mountains. They have to get over the pass to get to the town. Or maybe their adventure lies in the mountains themselves. Like maybe there's a specific cave or something that they're trying to look for. And maybe that can lead them into a dungeon filled with treasure that they'd like to take home. And so that is today's imagery. I know it's an old one, but the whole point of this imagery is for me to share with you that playing solo tabletop RPGs, it could be such a great and immersive experience. And I really hope that when you start to play tabletop RPGs, it'll start to click for you how to kind of practice that creative thinking. Because I will say, I always say this, I feel like in every single video of mine, but I will say it again, it doesn't click right away. And it takes time to practice. It takes time to understand how you think. And the other key with that too is you also have to pay attention to whether or not you're making it overly complicated, because it is true that when our creative minds just kind of spiral and overthink, that can kind of hinder us from enjoying a solo session. And so here's just my imagery to remind you that it could be immersive, it could be a great experience, and it can also be simplified. It doesn't have to be complicated. So just catching up with the chat here. I'm so glad the algorithm brought you here, Brads. I really appreciate all the comments and feedback on my YouTube videos. I'm also still catching up on responding to them, but I'm really glad that you guys are enjoying the videos. Peachy Pixels, perfect timing. I just bought the white box in Mythic. Oh yes, awesome. Yes. Okay, I'm really glad. Well, this is a great first step to your solo adventures. And so, okay, now I guess we will go into principles. So this is my own, so these are my own 3 principles. Okay. So number 1, um, start messy. And I want to say that again, a lot of emphasis on the messy part. So start messy, not ready. Okay. So that means that your setup, your prep, it doesn't need to be perfect. So what do I mean by that? Okay. So for solo tabletop RPGs, for you to play, you do need to prep a little bit, but you don't need to prep everything to start. I'll go into that later on as I go through my notes tonight. But what I'm saying is for you to just start messy, that is okay. You don't need to come up with every single thing about the world that you're exploring, or you don't need to flesh out all the NPCs and encounters beforehand, etc. So start messy. Embrace the messiness. Honestly, that is like my number 1 principle. Okay. And now for number 2. Okay, you see these things, all these dice in here? Trust the dice, okay? But you as the GM, because you are playing as both the GM and the PC, you make the call. So whatever your dice will tell you, your dice will show you the outcome of different things, right? But you as the GM, you have to call the shots and interpret it as what you think is like happening in the scene with your PC, with an NPC, etc. Okay. So you have to call the shots as the GM, as whatever the dice roll is, and then you just keep moving. You don't need to think, oh, I don't think I gave my PC a hard enough encounter, or oh, I think I kind of took it a little too easy this time. Like you don't need to think about that. Just keep on moving and keep playing. The reflection part about how things went, that can be dealt with later on or after your session. So that is number 2. Trust the dice, okay? But you have to make the call as the GM because this is your own solo session, okay? And now the last one, number 3. Honestly, you can just play for 15 minutes and see how it goes. Like you guys can play like I don't know, like two to 3 scenes and let's just see how the adventure goes for your PC, right? So for my 3 principles, number 1, start messy, embrace the messiness, okay? Number 2, trust the dice and make the call as a GM. And finally, number 3, play for 15 minutes and see how it goes. You don't need to sit down for like 2 hours, although I personally like to play for like at least an hour sometimes when I play my solo sessions. But even if it's just 15 minutes, that's great. All right. So I'm just going to catch up on the chat really quick here. I appreciate how you do your own art. Thank you. Yes, I love doing my own art here. Johnny, I got my notebook out. Oh, great. Okay. And Zoe, hi, your videos have been so helpful in influencing my Forbidden Lands solo games. Oh, great. I'm so glad. Welcome to the live. Johnny, I sent a link to the stream to my D&D group. They asked me how to play solo, and I never have a good answer for them. You know, that's actually a really good point. I feel like whenever people ask me how solo tabletop RPGs work, I have a really hard time trying to make a very cohesive answer. And actually, one of my buddies that I play D&D with, I met with him like a couple weeks ago, and I'll see him later on for D&D this week. But he did ask me, he was like, how in the world do you play a solo session like by yourself? And I've finally just settled on this answer. So I say, I play as like a regular player, and then my GM are oracles and dice. And I just, I just said that, and he was like, wow, like that actually seems like a lot of fun, and that completely makes sense because you don't have a live GM in front of you, but if you have, randomness from the dice and random tables, he was like, you can totally make your own adventure. So I said, yes, that's exactly what I do. So I think finally I've come up with that answer to that question. But anyways, I digress. So now we will go into the steps here. So before I do that, I do want to say there are 5 steps to this. This is how I personally organize my process and my steps. Okay, so obviously, as a solo player, it is up to me how I choose how I want to play. So in your own journey, you'll start to kind of figure out how you play and your style. So just letting you know that there are certain styles, certain ways to play that might not be for everyone, but this is just what has worked for me. So, all right, for number 1. Okay. Number 1, choose a system, preferably one that you know well or a simple one that's just easy to learn. Okay. So, choose a system. That can be very overwhelming. As you can see, there are so many different types of solo experiences, right? So it really depends on the experience that you're wanting out of a solo session. So the most obvious that I feel like a lot of people are very familiar with, D&D 5e, for example. That is a tabletop RPG system. Other examples, we have Whitebox, Troika, Morkborg, Shadowdark, Advanced D&D, Traveler, Walking Dead universe role-playing game. There are so many different types of systems out there, all right? And now, besides the systems, okay, there are different types of, I guess, role-playing games. And here are a couple of examples here. So this is a solo dungeon crawler, but I'd like to consider this kind of like a choose your own adventure kind of a thing here. So what lies beneath? This is a dungeon crawler where you do have to roll dice, and I believe it's just D6s. But depending on the checks that you do, if it's like a fail or a success, you then go to the appropriate section of the book to continue on in the journey. So for example, if we are in encounter 108 and we have to gain certain tags, so tags are basically just different, it could be different items, different skills that you've picked up as you've been like playing through this adventure. There are different tags that you acquire, and you can choose where to continue. So you can explore the inn, explore the homes and the halls, the fortress, etc. So whatever you choose to explore, then you flip to the encounter. So let's see, let's explore the inn. So E122, and then we flip, and then there we go. We are at the inn, and it'll say like, okay, you have to perform a test. You lose a tag, and then you see if it was a success and you gain, and you still have these certain tags, then you have choices of which one you want to go to next. So that is a choose your own adventure style kind of a thing. I do have another example. I don't have it on my desk right now, but Fable Lands, that's another good example of choose your own adventure. Okay. So this is not a lot of role playing, I will say. So I think that's the biggest difference with like tabletop RPGs, the term role playing. You're not really doing that in these types of games here. Like it's already a set system. There's already like a predetermined outcome for different things. But yeah, so this is one type. And then we can get into kind of dipping our toes a little bit in the TTRPG world now. And this is solo specific. So there is 4 Against Darkness, which I love. I absolutely love 4 Against Darkness. If you want to get into a solo dungeon crawling adventure, highly recommend this. Another one that I really love is Care Nathalis. This is very, and I mean very crunchy. So keep in mind, be patient with yourself if you want to learn how to play Care Nathalis. This is very complicated just because you can create such a detailed character, and there's so many different ways for your character to level up and progress. And there's also just really cool encounters in here and really cool monsters. There's a Vinekin in here actually that inspired my Karen campaign that I just finished, Vinekin's Revenge. As you know, it's Kevin over here. Um, and so these are very solo specific. So there's not too much of like role playing in the sense of like you're probably not going to encounter um, like too many like NPCs that you can like chat with, or usually all the monsters dealt in here they want to fight you basically. So this is kind of like a nice way to slowly introduce yourself into solo tabletop RPGs. The nice thing about these two is with this system, there is a gameplay loop that you go through. So like you explore a room, you encounter it, you clear it, and then you go into the next room. So that is a loop that like repeats itself. And once you get used to a gameplay loop, then you can start to make your own too. And I'll get into gameplay loops later on in my notes here. And then my other example, Morkin, The Lords of Midnight, a solo adventure game. So in this is not a tabletop role-playing game because there is already a set ending. There's already different like events and such and quests that you go on that's already written out and determined for you. And so, but this is kind of similar, I feel like, to Care Nathalis, except this is more on the, I kind of want to say sandboxy a little bit. So your goal in this one, you have to explore the map over here. So we start at the Tower of the Moon, and then we have to get all the way over here to defeat the Lord in Tower of Doom to destroy the Ice Crown. And so we have to like travel through all these different like hexes and like see how encounters go, see the different NPCs and quests and such. And so yeah, so this is another solo adventure game. I feel like this is also another good intro to eventually the TTRPG systems. So, okay, so these are all non-tabletop RPG systems, okay? And there are a ton on itch.io as well that are free. And itch.io is great because there's a lot of like tarot deck based kind of like solo journaling games. There's one called A Princess with a Cursed Sword, and that was my very first intro to journaling games. And there's a couple of others. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but they use like just a standard deck of cards. Again, another great way to introduce yourself to just the solo RPG world. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Okay, and for the experience that you want, if you want a lot more structure, or if you want something that is very like solo specific and you can, you know, all you need is the book really, then you can probably think of these types of solo adventures. And then when we get into systems, you will need random tables and oracles to help kind of guide you in how you play. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. This, all you need are just the books here, right? But here you probably need additional supplements to really enjoy like a solo session. All right, so I hope that makes sense. So choose a system. And when you get into systems now, right, this will not be the same as playing with a live group, right? Because you don't have an actual GM to tell you like what's going on, okay? And so Oracle driven with a TTRPG system, that is my favorite way to play. And you can also think of different genres of, the classic fantasy. You can have zombies, like I love Walking Dead universe. It is so much fun. You can have Traveler, which is some sci-fi. And then eventually you also want to see if you want to choose one PC or if you want to manage 2 to 3 PCs. Before, I used to be very I don't know. I very I guess religious with just sticking with one PC, but eventually I've kind of started to see the appeal to manage 2 to 3 PCs, and it's so much fun too to kind of see the group dynamic and see how they just work together as a team. So that is number one step here. Choose a system. Okay. Now I'm going to pause for a sec. I know that was a lot of information. I'm going to read the chat and catch up there. But also, anyone in the community, please feel free to respond to questions if there are any questions in the chat. So yeah, I really just want this to be helpful, especially for folks who are completely new to this. So I'm just going to catch up on chat really quick here. Let's see. Okay, hardest for me is actually playing. I do a lot of prep, house rules, custom rules, etc. Yes, yeah, I completely get it. I understand. It's the prep is a lot of fun, and I still consider prep to be play. I guess I should have added that to my principle there, but I get it. It's hard at first for you to eventually start playing. So I completely relate. Um, okay, let's see. Um, oh, hello, Coach. Nice to see you in here. Um, let's see. Definitely didn't get into Four Against Darkness. That is fair. Four Against Darkness is very light, and it's meant to be super light. But they do have a ton of supplements. I have some in my on my shelf back there. But a lot of the different supplements that I've found are a lot of fun. And I also use sometimes my oracles with For Against Darkness to just kind of help with creating more of like a story behind that. So yeah, let's see. I have more than one PC for some interaction. Yes, for sure. Coach, I had to zoom in on the cool crystal. Thank you. Yes, I got this as a gift. Thank you. I was thinking about finally playing White Box solo. Yes, yeah, it's fun, and it's a very simple system. Yeah, it's great. Okay, great. I think I've caught up on the chat. Now we are going into number 2. Okay, now finally create your character and get to know your character. Understand who they are. Okay, so once you have picked your system, right? So now we're going into specifically tabletop RPG systems, okay? So here are a bunch of different examples of systems. Okay, and now, when we create your character, it should be, hopefully it's pretty simple and easy to understand. I mean, I feel like for any game, for it to be enjoyable, it should be fairly straightforward, right? So hopefully you picked a system that is easy, straight to the point. For folks that are very familiar with D&D 5e here, you can choose, right? You have so many different types of classes, of races, right? So it breaks it down into steps here. And also, it's up to you if you want to create a level 1 character, right? Or if you want to create a higher level character, right? So the principle is the same across all systems, right? So you create a character and you come up with the class, the race, the backstory, right? If they're proficient in certain skills or weapons or whatever. Okay. So for solo players, it is up to you if you want to create a level 1 to a level 3, 4, 5 character. Okay. The thing about Shadow Dark, if you are playing it solo, there is a solo supplement that goes with this. And it is recommended to, I'm trying to remember what it says. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's recommended to either create a couple of level 1 characters, or you can create a level, I think it's like a level 3 character. So someone's a little stronger, right? Let me see. Oh yes, here. Okay, so characters. All right. So you will typically want your group to have 2 to 4 PCs. If you have more than 4, it can be hard to track. If you want to have only 1 PC in your group, consider starting at a higher level. Okay. And so I know for me, when I was playing Pits of the Thieving Warriors, my Shadow Dark campaign, I played Drago, and he is a level 3 fighter. Okay. So now, as you roll on the tables and such to figure out your stats and whatever, okay, now you can think about their epic backstory. So you can think about their strengths, their weaknesses. You can think about their daily life. And so I know for me, I love to think through those things. And so I actually came up with a simple character personality and backstory generator. So this is behind the name, and you can find it on my itch.io if you are interested. There is a free version here, but also, you can just use your creativity. Like I'm not saying this is needed or anything, but that is the link right there. So I have a table of character strengths, and then I also have a couple questions here that you can just think about. How have their strengths helped them navigate hardships? Was there a mentor involved, a parental figure? And what or who drives them? And then we also have another one. We have a special artifact. Like maybe they are attached to a quirky little thing that they hold or that they keep in their pocket, right? So I don't know. I'm just curious. Let's see. We got a 13, a wax sealed letter. Okay, so that means that our character is holding on to this letter, and it is not, it hasn't been opened yet. I wonder if they are holding it for a friend. Maybe they're trying to deliver this letter to a friend, or maybe it is a letter from, I don't know, maybe their mentor or something, and they're saying to only open it when you truly need to, like whatever that means, right? So who knows? What else do I have in here? We have a table of quirks, so just something to just kind of come up with like a good visual of like who your character is. Another one, a table of childhood memories, maybe certain goals. And for these, the certain goals, I hope that this could be a nice adventure prompt, or maybe inspo for a quest or something. So what else? We have, oh yes, I also forgot about this, of course, questions to reveal. So this is another way for you to really think about your character, because your character is alive, right? It's living in the world that you've created, and they're complicated, right? There's good and evil. Morals can be like complicated with them, perhaps. And so, yeah, this is just a way for you to really like immerse yourself in the PC's mind, right? Okay, so let's see here. What else do I want to cover? Um, oh, yes. So another thing with creating your character. So once you have like a backstory and you think about who they are, their personality, etc., now you can think about their connections to the world that you are building. So that could be connections to um, to NPCs. So maybe that could be family, that could be friends, lovers, tutors, teachers, maybe like certain communities, maybe factions. And this is also where you can think about if you want your session to be maybe cozy. Do you want it to be combat heavy? Or do you just want a simple exploration? Okay. So as you're creating your character, you should think about, oh, do I see this character enjoying um, a, a trip to explore uncharted land? Or maybe are they more into I don't know, maybe they're into like the arena type of a combat. Maybe they want to be like a really really good gladiator, and maybe their goal is to just train themselves up to be the best in the kingdom or something. Okay, so something to think about. An example of a cozy one that I did solo last year, and I never actually shared this in a video or a post or anything, but I was playing my D&D 5e, and I did like a cozy potion making kind of a game. So my explorer, he had a potion shop, and he had these like really weird customers, and they had very odd requests. And so his adventure in this was to explore and learn how to make certain potions to sell to these customers. So that's an example of a cozy one that's not super combat heavy, right? So I hope the point for number two, create your character, I hope those points helped. Okay. So thinking about their daily life, do they have a job? Do they have family? What are their hobbies? Do they like to go to the bar? Do they like to get drunk or something and make out with the bard? Or like you never know what they're like. So this is your time to flesh them out, right? But you also don't need to go into super detailed with who they are, because as you play you can also get to know and learn more about your character. Okay, so I know again that was a lot. I will pause for a little bit and catch up on chat, and let's just see how things are going. I hope this is making sense so far, especially for you newbies out there. Let me know. Okay, so let's see. Oh, I love that you guys are chatting with each other. It's so much fun. I love this community. Solo Dark is super cool. Yes, I love Solo Dark. I also love using it for other games too. Um, autocorrect. Yeah, autocorrect it can be bad. It can be so mean to you. Oh, thank you so much for buying it. I really hope you enjoyed it. I mainly use the Oracle, blah, blah, blah. Background journal helps me generate three aspects for a character, three defining characteristics, motivations. What would the character decide in a given situation? Ooh, yeah. No, I love that. Solis, do you have the D&D 2024 rulebook? I think this is the 2014 rules. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, hello, Solo Society. Nice to see you. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, life has been so good, so busy, but good. I hope you're doing well too. Let's see. I was curious if Solos grabbed 2024. Oh, yes. Okay, so I have the D&D group that I play with every week. We've been using the 2024 rules, and all my friends at the table have been just helping me like catch up with like the little differences. But at least for my collection, um, I feel like I'm pretty much done with 5e, honestly, and I'm pretty set with like all the other systems that I have right now. I've noticed that I gravitate more towards OSR, but that's just me personally. But no hate to 5e at all. Like it's fun, but I think just for my own enjoyment, and also trying to like teach others who have never played D&D, I like to quote unquote trick them into thinking that they're playing, the typical D&D 5e, but they're actually playing like an OSR system. Oh, hi, Mrs. Coach. Nice to see you pop in. Thank you so much for popping in. Okay, so is everyone caught up? Are we okay to move on to the next point here? All right. Okay, so the next one we have simple world building. Okay, so number 3, always start small. Never start big. Always start small when you are building your world, because you will get overwhelmed and you will start to kind of, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I've also just seen this from like other solo players out there that when they start big, it can get overwhelming, and you would tend to want to like fill in every single little detail of your map. But you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. You can always just start small, start simple, okay? So typically what I do is I usually do 2 to 3 different things here, okay? So 2 to 3 NPCs or factions, 2 to 3 locations, okay? So maybe I have a region, and in that region are 2 to 3 special areas of interest, okay? So that could be like a dungeon, that could be like a town, and then the other part could be like a, I don't know, like an abandoned building of some sort, okay? Like there's some sort of mystery behind that particular building, okay? And then when you are visiting different like towns, then you can do the same thing again. You can come up with 2 to 3 locations at a town. So I don't know, that could be an inn, there could be a blacksmith, there could be maybe like a town hall or something, okay? So always sticking with like 2 to 3, just keep it simple. And as you play, you can also play and build the world as well as you keep on venturing in there. And then eventually, as you play, I feel like those different things will start to come together, and then you'll start to see maybe different political or religious divides too. It's also up to you if you want to um, build like a certain area and kind of pick, like what you want to be, for what you want the government, I guess, to be, or I don't know. So it's up to you how you want to do that part. But sometimes I like to start off not knowing and then just seeing how things like progress. Um, okay, so now that you have like a little bit of like your world building, right? So you have a couple factions here and there, you have a couple of little locations, and then now you can put together maybe like a small table, maybe like a D6 table of random encounters, okay? So maybe as your character is exploring, you can write down, I don't know, let's just do it right now, shall we? So let's just keep it simple. So let's say we're going to do a D6 table of random encounters, okay? So, all right, so let's see. We can say for number 1, we'll say bandits. So maybe as we're traveling, we come across bandits. What else? I don't know why this just popped up in my head, but cultists, right? And then maybe like a monster of some sort, okay? And then we have here a friendly NPC could be another one. Another one could be maybe a trap. And then last could be, I don't know, maybe there's nothing, maybe it could be a safe encounter. So meaning like maybe the area is clear, nothing's really happening, and they can take a rest, right? So as our traveler is, let's use this. So as our traveler is making their way through the hills over here, let's see. We got a 3, a monster. Okay, so maybe there's a monster that is hiding behind the grassy hills and stuff. Maybe it's a goblin. Who knows, right? So that's an example of just having like a little table of random encounters for traveling, perhaps. Okay. So now you see these arrows here. Okay. So for when you are creating your NPCs and your factions, right? Now you can start to think, okay, are any of these NPCs are they friendly? Are they perhaps a good connection for our PC? Are they secretly enemies, right? And then beyond that, that can go into quests too. So how does it tie in with your PC? So maybe there are certain factions or NPCs that have a quest for your PC. Or maybe there are certain locations that your PC can visit where they're like, oh wait, I kind of want to explore this area more because they uh, maybe they found like an ancient artifact of some sort that has these weird runes that they have no idea how to read, and so maybe they'll take that artifact and bring it back to town and maybe see if somebody in the town can translate it for them, right? So that is an example of how you can tie your PC, like the backstory, right? So always thinking about their daily life and trying to see how you can connect it back to NPCs, certain locations, or factions. And of course, you don't need to think about all of this on your own. There are oracles, okay? So here are a ton of oracles, a ton of oracles here. Okay, so these are all my oracles, okay? So I have ones that I've made for myself. I have this random table of symbols, my Thomas Signum, and maybe there are certain things in the dungeon. Maybe there's certain tattoos. Maybe there's certain etchings on the walls that have these weird looking symbols, and we don't know what it means. Okay, so here is a random table of like shapes and their meanings. We have horror and dark themes. We have creatures. We have nature. So maybe it's an etching of like a tree or something that's found on a wooden door. And maybe it means something around something about like life, growth, right? So I always say this, make your own tables. Honestly, like you don't need all of this. Like this is of course like helpful. Obviously like buy whatever you need to spark that creative energy. But you can also find inspo from, I don't know, books or like TV or movies that you like, and you can just put it all in like tables and roll on the tables to see what you can come up with. So these are my own. And then we have Solo Dark, which is the solo supplement of Shadow Dark. So again, all of the world building things that you want to do. So maybe creating factions and PCs and locations. You have these awesome tables here to help with that. You don't need to do this by yourself. Okay, so you have here a dungeon. Okay, so let's see. Maybe we want to create a dungeon. Okay. So where's my other? Oh, here. Okay. D100. Let's just see. Okay, so we got, a 13. Okay, so Fortress 79. Fortress of the Shimmering what? What is this? We have 8. Shimmering of, Fortress of the Shimmering God. So maybe it's a very sparkly looking god. Maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's a good, maybe a neutral good, lawful god. And that's the fortress. So look at that. We already came up with a location just by figuring out the name of the dungeon. Okay. So the name of the dungeon, that gave me a good idea of what I think would be in that particular dungeon. So maybe it's a safe haven. It's a fortress, right? Maybe it's a safe haven for travelers or something. So that is an example, okay? And for oracles, yes or no, kind of a table here, okay? So we would roll a d20. 1 to a 9 is a no, 10 is a twist, 11 to a 20 is a yes, okay? So this is Solo Dark. Another great one, Sandbox Generator. Tables filled with so many different locations and ideas for even a hex crawl, right? So there's a table of cities. We also have here points of interests, like how many churches, cemeteries, taverns are there in the city, okay? Castles, we have castles as well here. So these are all really, really great resources. Another great one, I always use this too, the sword press, arcane sword press one. Okay, so you have here this awesome table of complex questions to flesh out ideas of the locations that you are exploring. So again, you don't need to come up with all of this on your own. This one, Solitary Depths, this is for Morkborg specifically. Mythic, I absolutely am obsessed with Mythic. If this is honestly one that I could just use all the time. Like this one and the Adventure Crafter. Like I honestly don't even need these. These are really, really great because the fate chart, I already have a video on my YouTube channel that goes into depth about this, but the fate chart is really, really good with determining how successful or how likely or unlikely different things happen. And then just a bunch of random tables, perfect for fleshing out scenes and locations, NPCs, etc. And the Adventure Crafter, this is all about helping you figure out like what different adventures and such are in particular scenes. Maybe your NPC, I don't know, maybe they steal something from you, like theft. Or maybe they actually end up becoming innocent about something, or maybe they were framed, right? A friend focus. Maybe you found a new friend, right, on your adventure as you're traveling through the city, through the town. You stop by an inn and you befriend maybe the innkeeper or something. Okay, so these are all tools to help, spark creativity, okay? These are not exactly needed, but it is really helpful for you to have these in order to play a tabletop RPG system, okay? Now, I know that was a lot of information, so please let me know if there was something confusing. Trying to catch up on chat here. Good evening, every player. Hello, Rich. Nice to see you. Pop in here. Brad, so let's see. I'm thinking a new solo person might want to look at one-page Mythic. Yes. Oh my goodness, yes. Thank you for mentioning that. One-page Mythic is great because, yeah, I know the Mythic GME, it can be overwhelming at first, especially for a newer player. And so definitely take Brad's tip there, okay, to look into one-page Mythic. You can find it on DriveThruRPG. I don't know if anyone has the link to it, but I can also share that later after the live. But okay, are we still okay? Solo players, are you still hanging on in there? Okay. All right. Okay, so now we are going into my fourth point. Set the first scene. So think about where would you find your PC, right? So as I said over here, as we are making our character, trying to understand who they are, we think about their daily life, right? So maybe they have a job, okay? Maybe they don't have a job. Maybe they're trying to look for work, right? And so set the first scene. You can, of course, do the classic, the adventure starts in a tavern or in an inn or something. But you can also think about maybe your PC gets into some, I don't know, messy business or something with a thieves guild, and maybe they're on the run, right? So maybe the first scene is they're running away from the faction, okay? So maybe that's how you want to set the first scene. Or maybe I had this example from one of my older videos, but I had a character, and their weakness was gambling and getting drunk at a fisherman's hub. Okay, so I started the scene with the with my character trying to sneak out and try to go behind his husband's back to go gambling, and so that was how I set the first scene. So think about their daily routine, right? So yeah, I think it's really fun when you think of kind of an action of like what they could be like doing, right? So now we are getting into a gameplay loop. Okay, so gameplay loop can be very confusing at first, but let me simplify this, okay? So you as PC, you're entering into a room, okay? What do you see? Okay, trigger rolling the table, okay? It gives you the result of what you see. Now, encounter whatever you see. Is it a success? Is it a failure? Then you continue on. If it's a success, then great, you don't lose anything. If it was a failure, then you might have lost something that's kind of important for that particular scene, okay? So that's just like a nice like three-step kind of a loop there. Entering into the room, encounter whatever's in the room, resolve it, and then move on, right? So here is an example. This is kind of how I play. So over here, the PC, you enter into the room, okay? You roll on your random tables, your oracle, to see what is in the room. And you ask, is it safe or is it unsafe? So maybe it is safe. Is there, I don't know, an NPC in the room? Is there a particular object? If it is unsafe, is there a trap? Maybe there's a hostile NPC. Maybe there's a monster. Okay. And then you can do a skill check, right? So you can do a skill check to see how it goes. Like, how do you want to encounter the safe or unsafe? Maybe it's an NPC. Okay. So if it is a success, then you continue on into the next scene. And if it's a failure, then you lose something and then you continue. Okay. And then there are different parts of this loop where you want to roll on the table. And that is how you create a gameplay loop. That is actually, where is it? I think for this, for Against Darkness, they do a good job of doing a very simple gameplay loop. And I've kind of learned to use that in my own solo sessions. So once you get comfortable with a gameplay loop, then you can also like add different things to it too. You can remove different things to it if you want to simplify it. But this is my personal way of having a loop, and you just approach things logically, okay? Like once you're in a new area, you want to explore a little bit and see what that area is all about, right? So that is an example of a gameplay loop. Okay, so let me just catch up on the chat really quick. Let me see. Mythic GME still overwhelms me. Yes, I completely get it. And actually, that's kind of why I've like, sometimes I prefer the old school revival solo role-playing guide. Because with this one, the Oracle is just two D6s, right? So let's grab 2d6 here. So we'll see what the results. So we got a 6 and a 2, and then we add these together. So this is an 8. So that would mean that is a no. But if you do roll a double, so let's say it's a 2-2. A 2-2 means no, but. And then if you got a 3-3, that means a yes, but. And then if you roll odds, so let's say we did like, I don't know, a 2-3. So add that up, that'll be a 5. So that would mean yes, okay? So this is another recommendation. Old School Revival Solo Role Playing Guide. Really nice, simple oracle. You can even simplify it even more. If you just want like a simple D6 oracle, you can do that as well. Like you can literally, this is what I do too. You can literally just do a 1d6 oracle and you can have a 1 to a 2, a 3, and then a 4. Oh, whoops. Oh my God, I always do this. A 3 to a 4, goodness. 5 to a 6, okay? So this could be a no, this can be a yes, and this could be a twist, okay? So a 1 to a 2 is a no, and then if it's a 3 to a 4, it could be a twist, and then a 5 to a 6 is a yes. So you can simplify it like that as well. All right. So those are just kind of different ways for you to get a gameplay loop going, and then choosing when to roll on the oracle, random tables, etc. All right. Let's see here. Some of the OSR systems have established play loops for combat, wilderness, and dungeon. Yes, yeah, that is a really great example as well. Kind of like that old school oracle. Yeah, it's a nice one. I've kind of adopted the 2d6 oracle into my play sessions. All right, my friends, we're getting close to the end, okay? All right, so hang in there. Okay, so now finally we are going to be talking about documenting your adventure. So how to track your adventure. Now, if you've seen my journals, all of these and these journals here, how I track my notes, it's kind of chaotic sometimes. But I just do very like simple notes, right? You can also do messy if you want. Like sometimes I do that. Like if you are following my Walking Dead session, all of this is kind of just very concise. Like I only come up with like 2 to 3 words to describe like the scene, and then I'll remember exactly what's going on. Maybe even just 1 or 2 sentences. So that's one way to do it. Just bullet journaling. You can use icons too. So you can put star next to certain parts of your notes to indicate that you have found a quest, a potential quest to take on. Maybe you've met certain NPCs. Maybe you've traveled to certain locations. You can come up with different icons to just like a quick view and a quick skim, trying to see like what your session looked like. You can also do a PC adventure diary. So that's kind of what I'm doing with these journals. So these journals are kind of like my adventures diary as they are traveling, venturing through all the different campaigns and one shots that I make. Okay. You can also draw a timeline or a map. Okay. So what I've also seen people do this too, where you have a map and then you can also write little notes here of like different things that have happened as you're traveling on the map here. Okay. So that's one way to do it. Voice recording. You can do a video recording. As you know, I like to record my videos. I find it a lot of fun just because I like to watch back on some of my plays, and I like to just reflect on how certain adventures, how it went. Another thing, I love to draw or sketch different scenes as well. And I think what's important is that when you are documenting, make sure you do it because like you want to. Like it shouldn't feel like work. Okay, it shouldn't feel like you are just tracking too many things. Like that's not fun. Okay, that's a lot of work. And so make sure that when you are documenting, you're documenting it in a way that makes the most sense to you. It doesn't matter how other people are doing it or whatnot. Okay, and it has to be immersive and or sorry, not immersive. It has to like make sense to you, and that also helps with immersing yourself in the adventure. So I know for me, I am a sucker for leather journals. Like I absolutely love leather journals. That's my way of getting myself like sucked into the adventure. I like making my own DM screen. This has my solo rules in here. So yeah, it has all like my little random tables and my solo rules in here that I like to use, and the art. So that's kind of why I like to make my own art too, is because that is my way to connect with the session, with my characters, etc. So let's see. Trying to see here on the chat now. Okay, so I love collecting and writing journals. I'm excited to start and be creative with it. Yes, yeah. And here, let me show you. This is my favorite journal. This one is my very first solo TTRPG journal. Okay, it has awesome stickers that I've collected, um, and I feel like these stickers just hold a lot of good memories too. So yeah, but this was like one of my very first solo RPGs experiences. This was a journaling one. I was taking care of a coffee shop, and then here was like a map that I created. Princess with a cursed sword. See, so you can see all my random like doodles and writing in here. But again, you don't need to write too much. Like for example, this was a Caernathalis adventure, and I just wrote little notes. This is how I like to map out different things that have happened. I just like drawing the map, drawing the dungeon, the location, whatever, and just filling in the room what happened, right? So again, you don't need to go too crazy in with your notes. Okay, you can come up with your own way too. This one I literally just did a dialogue. So this was a D&D campaign where I just really tracked the dialogue, and that helped me remind myself where I'm at in my adventure. Let's see, what else? There's so many adventures in here. Oh, here, like my Shadow Dark, you can see all my notes here. See, it's not like super detailed, right? And then drawing really helps me stay immersed. Over here we have Lysandra, who is my character. She's basically like a paladin, and she was saving her lover from the evil, what was it, the monster troll? Yeah, I think it was the troll guy. I don't remember. Oh yeah, this was like one of the like sea monsters that was lurking in the waters of the in the cave. Yeah, it was like this weird octopus thing. But anyways, yeah, so that is how you can track your adventures. It doesn't have to be super super detailed, but make your journal your own thing to help you like stay immersed, and also make sure to not have too many resources out. Like sometimes I just like taking out my system, my notebook, and then an oracle and my dice, and that's that. Like I don't need too many um, supplements around me, or else I'll start to get overwhelmed and I can't make decisions. Yeah, so make sure that however you are documenting it, it's concise and it doesn't feel like homework for you, because it really shouldn't, right? And then after you played your very first session, right, after choosing a system, creating a character, doing simple world building, playing out the first scene and documenting it, now you can reflect. Like, how did it go? Was there anything that you want to change? Maybe the way that you made your own gameplay loop. Maybe there's certain things that you want to change next time. Maybe the way that you are documenting it. Maybe you are thinking, I don't know if I want to do an adventure diary. Maybe I just want to do bullet journaling. Okay. So again, it is up to you. It is your session. You can make it your own, right? And you can also think about the time as well. So maybe even thinking about like how much time you've like taken with your session. Sometimes I can literally play for hours. I don't know how my mind does it, but I don't know what it is. Like my imagination can just like go crazy when I'm playing solo TTRPGs. Or it can be really short. It can be like what I said here, like just playing for like 15 minutes, and that was already like a super fun session, right? Okay, so before we go into questions, I am going to look at our chat here and see how it is going. Okay, so my challenge is that I don't want to write prose. If I don't, I feel like I'm more playing a board game than creating a story. Oh, interesting. Huh. Yeah, I mean, like that makes sense. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it also just kind of depends for me. I don't think I've actually, huh. Actually, I will say maybe there's like some of my I don't remember which one it was called, but there was a game that I did play. It was a solo RPG game, and it did kind of feel board gamey rather than like an RPG kind of game. So yeah, I think like for me, creating the story is what's like key for it to like feel less than a board game. So yeah, but yeah, I understand like writing can just become a lot and like too much to do. So that's also why I like recording my videos. Like obviously, yes, I love to share it with you guys, but it's also fun for just me to like listen back to on my own time. So also voice recordings too. I love listening to like podcasts, or sometimes people post little snippets on their like Substack or something. That's fun. Okay, let me see. What else? Have you played Delve? Ooh, I have not. Umbra or Rise? No, I'll have to check those out. Peachy Pixels. How long do your sessions usually go for? Oh, I mean, like I said, it can go from like hours to 15 minutes. I don't know. But I feel like average, probably like a 30-minute session, a couple times a week. But I think the thing that kind of prevents people from actually playing is probably the prep, because I feel like at first a lot of newer players, they get overwhelmed with like, oh, I need to like build everything out for me to play it. I'm like, no, you can roll and play to find out more about your world, right? So you don't need to worry too much about dedicating a lot of time to world building. So yeah, just play, just start and play. That's like my number one advice. If for someone that's kind of struggling with trying to figure that out, just start it and just reflect and see how it goes for you. Okay, so now it is question time. So thank you for listening to the 5 points of how to actually play TTRPGs solo. I hope that these outlines helped. And if you want examples, I have a ton on my channel. So feel free to just browse through my channel. I have a ton of videos that give various examples of how I personally play. I hope that helps you out as well. Okay, so now for questions. Ask away. And for folks in our community, feel free to chime in as well. So there were a couple of questions that I've gotten on Instagram, the YouTube channel, and where was it? Was it Blue Sky? Yeah, I think it was Blue Sky. Okay, so I'm gonna answer these questions first. So the Mad Tatter 6679. My question is, how do you keep track of all the different games you play so well? Well, I mean, like I said, I just write, you know, little notes here and there. But in terms of like organizing my notebook, I do have notebooks that are split into certain sections that are dedicated to certain adventures and campaigns. So, for example, this is Ghost Ravik. She's like a mecha pilot. So all of these pages are related to her adventure. I just did a one-shot adventure, but there is another kind of adventure that I want to do for her, and so I've saved this page and this part over here to just Ghost Ravik's kind of storyline here. And then let's see. What else? Yeah, I like to just dedicate like a couple of pages here and there to adventures. So that's kind of how I organize it. Okay, what's the other question? What is and how long is your pre-prep process before you start? Actually get started with the playing part. Okay. So yes, I understand. So I think for me, my prep process probably like 15 minutes ish, maybe 20. um, I try to, it really depends, I guess, because there are times where I do genuinely just want to build the world, and that's like all that I'll do for like an hour, right? But if I do have that itch to like play immediately, I probably prep for like 15 minutes. I come up with like a really simple prompt, and then I have my PC and their stats and everything all filled out, and then I just start playing. And so yeah, I think like what I said here. So I come up with like 2 to 3 NPCs and factions, right, to get started. I will share with you guys a little video short. I think I will post that tomorrow about Jory, who is the undead gunslinger, and this is going to be my new Cairn campaign. So I'll be playing Cairn second edition. So it'll be using this system. So I'll be using this system to play Jory, the undead gunslinger, and he has a pet. His name is Auroric. It's a little slime monster that chills on his shoulder there. And so they were hired to investigate a well. So in this well, locals have heard laughing during the day, and then at night they hear crying. And so I already mapped out the well here, but it's empty, so I don't know like what's in the well. And then I have a couple of more ideas too, like maybe he can explore Anvil's End and kind of see what's, the mystery behind this mining town, Anvil's End. So yeah, and then I dedicated these pages to document Jory's adventure. So stay tuned for that. I'm really excited about that one. So prepping all of that probably took me like 30 minutes. So coming up with the map, the adventure prompt. So yeah. And then now, Johnny Mo 08, what's a good prep process before you start? Note cards, reference cards, PDFs, etc. Minis, ambiance music or candles. Yes, I love listening to dungeon synth music, or sometimes like synth wave as well as I play. That helps me kind of stay focused. And then of course I love pulling out my favorite dice here in this cool travel friendly dice tray. And then of course I pull out like my favorite minis, or I also have like Legos, or I make my own little wooden tokens with little icons in it to represent characters. So yeah, those are some ways for me to kind of get ready in the mindset to start playing. So yeah, that's kind of how I do it. I also take notes as well, like on note cards for a little reference. Or here, my good buddy Rocket Punch, he put together basically a cheat sheet for The Walking Dead. So this is perfect. Like I like having this out to prep me if I'm playing The Walking Dead. And then there's solo rules in the back of the book, and then I just put it on this page to help remind myself. So yeah, so that's kind of how I do it. That's how I kind of prep myself. Dawn C 7664, 2 questions. Why and how are you so awesome? Well, thank you for the compliment. That means a lot. Okay, tips for playing pre-written modules that have a story and aren't just dungeon crawlers. Why, yes, I do have the Chill RPG. We were doing a Dracula pre-made adventure, so feel free to watch that video. That is how I personally play pre-written modules. So I usually skim the entire adventure.
So yes, there are going to be spoilers, of course. But I also keep in mind that my PC doesn't know anything. So I try to always keep in mind to like separate the PC and the GM mindset as I am playing a pre-written module. And so for that one, that really isn't like dungeon crawly, but there's like certain areas of the estate that you have to explore, right? And also certain NPCs that you can like chat with to see if they can like help you out on the adventure there. So that's kind of my tip, is to skim through the pre-written modules, and then have, I don't know, I don't really use oracles too much with pre-written modules because I already have an idea of how the adventure will play out. Um, or what you can do is you can take the pre-written modules, take all the adventure and the lore and stuff, take all of that out and then make it your own. So you can do that as well. Okay, so next question. Well known as Cave, Moses, do you prefer solo RPGs or RPGs played with solo tools? I prefer RPGs played with solo tools. I don't know what it is, but there's something about that where it makes it a lot more immersive for myself if I can just come up with different things by myself instead of just doing whatever the author already kind of put together for me. Morphs 001, solo TTRPGs that can be played on the go. For RPGs that can be played on the go, I wouldn't say there's like a ton of TTRPGs that can play on the go. Um, what I do like to do sometimes, if I'm like in my car and I'm like charging it or something, I like to whip out my mini Dungeon Master screen, my traveling notebook, dice, and that's really it. And that's kind of how I personally like to play. So simple Oracle, simple tables. I have an adventure all in here. Another thing, you can play something like this, like a choose your own adventure to play on the go. Like I like to bring this sometimes on vacations. But yeah, I think for solo RPGs on the go, you just have to have like I don't know, maybe like you can use like a dice app on your phone or something to like help with that. So yeah. Let's see, what other questions? Old Fart Warlock, how do you keep the momentum going? Whew, that's a good question. Honestly, with how I like to play after finishing a session, I like to finish at like a quote unquote cliffhanger. So then I can look forward to what happens next. So, for example, for The Walking Dead, with our characters like Aiden and Kai, they have finally found a car and they're driving away and making their way towards Sugar Hill, which is the new haven. And so, how I am looking forward to that next session is is not knowing what lies for them in Sugar Hill. Like, is it supposed to be this like perfect haven, as the rumors say, or is it like low key messed up? You never know. So that's kind of how I kind of keep up with the momentum, is to come up with like different ways for me to stop at certain cliffhangers. And I can also switch between genres too. Like I love bouncing between sci-fi, fantasy, my zombie like games, of course. So that's one way to do it. So okay, so those are the questions off of different social media apps. So let's see. Now I'm going to answer questions from you guys over here. Okay, so let's see. Peachy Pixels, what has been your most enjoyable adventure so far? Oh, that's a great question. Um, hmm, man, probably my favorite so far. Honestly, it's probably The Walking Dead. I've been really enjoying The Walking Dead one, and I keep thinking back to my session. So yeah, probably Walking Dead right now, and maybe my Bloodborg adventure too. That's a vampire one with vampire punks. So that's a Morkborg uh, adventure, and so I've been really enjoying that one too with our two vampires in love, and they like to cause chaos in Scab, the city of Scab. So that's probably my two enjoyable adventures: zombies and then vampires. Okay, so speaking of Cairn, have you come across Rune Cairn? Oh, I did see. I think there was a Kickstarter for that. Was or maybe I'm confusing that with something else. The Nordic setting. Yes, I have. I have seen that. I don't have too much Nordic themed, I guess, like systems. I do have a couple of like Nordic themed board games, but yeah, maybe I can look into that. Norse history and mythology is really interesting. Okay, do you have a favorite sci-fi system? Oh, right now it's probably Traveler. I really enjoy the Traveler system, along with Arcane Sword Press supplements. There's like Heavy Metal supplement, which is a mecha supplement, and then Space Truckers. That's a good one too. So yeah, I like listening to Elder Scrolls. Ooh, yes, that's a good one. Yeah, Elder Scrolls soundtrack's really, really cool. Oh, the Mad Tatter. No worries. Thanks for stopping by. Um, Star Not Nachi. I hope that I pronounced that right. Hi, I hope it's not too late. Oh, well, I mean, it is kind of near the end of it, and I did go through like my 5 points, but no worries. I will be posting this soon after, and then you can watch it. But yeah, now we're just kind of chilling, answering questions. Um, okay, so let's see. There was a Kickstarter a while ago. Oh, okay. Gotcha. But it's retail now. Okay, good to know. Personally, I love the atmosphere of Tales from the Loop in Vaesen, but playing mystery solo is difficult. Ooh, yes. Playing mystery can be hard. I did a series for it was back in October, how to add mystery in your solo sessions. So I hope that could be a good resource for you. Lean on mystery, not monsters. The idea behind the title is to not rely on just simply the monster for what it is, but kind of the backstory and the mystery behind the monsters, right? So my first point was to not map everything out, to use your senses. So maybe not roll for explicitly what is in the room, but think, do I smell something funny? Do I feel something sticky that is on the walls or something, or maybe under my boots? Adding the tension die. The tension die is a really, really great example. So you go from a D20, then you work your down the dice system to eventually a D4. And then once you hit a 1 or a 2 on a D4, then something bad happens. So that can be adding tension. You can role play the villain. Like you can kind of cut the POV of the PC and switch a little bit to the villain and see what the villain is doing. So yeah, I hope I hope that series helps. So feel free to check that out if you want to see how you can add mystery into your session there. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, thank you, Rich, for stopping by. See you the next live session. Yes, there's gonna be more lives. I hope to do more lives this new year. Cool. So happy to be here. Oh, great. Okay. There's a Mythic magazine that has a full mystery system article in it. Yes, that is true. I did see that. There's also, oh my goodness, there is a solo dungeon tuber on our YouTube channel community that does solo tabletop RPGs, both mystery, and she does a really good job with that. She uses Mythic in a really cool way. I can't remember her name. But if I do, I'll like post it or something. I think she's like on a break or something like that because I haven't seen content from her in a while. Um, okay, let's see. Number 6. Oh yeah, you might be right, Mad Tatter. I think you're right. Um, will you be doing lives of you playing a session? Honestly, I've been like thinking about it. I've been thinking about doing more lives for just like my play sessions because I don't know. Like I did the Walking Dead live, which was a lot of fun, and you guys helped me kind of navigate the story and kind of the world building and building Aiden Foster, my PC. So that was a lot of fun. So maybe I should do that too. Just doing like a live session of my plays. But sometimes with my schedule, it's like I like to play and record on like my lunch break. And I barely do any editing with like my videos. I just chop up a couple things here and there, put background music, um, and then post it. But yeah, so maybe in the evenings when I have like free time in the new year, I can actually do like a live session of that. But yeah, that would be fun. Um, let's see, what else? Have you used a tarot system as Oracle? Ooh, yes. Yeah, I have before. I've actually used the tarot deck actually to get some inspo for adventures. I'm not super familiar with the tarot deck. I know there's like a lot of like um, what do you call it? Like a spiritual like a spirituality bit behind these really cool decks. I'm not super familiar with it in that way, but yeah, usually I like to just whip these out for just like image like inspo to kind of see what I can like come up with for adventure prompts. Or I can also use it to resolve certain scenes, right? So look, so you can see this is upside down. So maybe something negative has happened to the PC, and then if it's upright, maybe something positive happened. So yeah, it's really fun to use the tarot deck. Um, I know I really want to try to mess with a tarot deck more, but I don't know what it is though. I feel like my heart really loves dice, but tarot decks are also a lot of fun. Let me see. Oh, are you talking about the girl that was kind of showcasing that mythic mystery system? Maybe. Yes, I think that's who I'm talking about. Yes. Yeah, she does a really good job. Let me see here. Pixels. I'd love to watch and see your process. Oh yes, okay. Yeah, I'll definitely do more live sessions in my in the future. Yeah. Yay, my brain worked. Yes. Don't you love it when the brain works? Let's see. I like to use the tarot as a keyword oracle, like taking a card, a meaning, and deciding the theme of a scene or encounter. Yes, yeah. No, that's really cool. I love that. That's actually what is it? A princess with a cursed sword. That's what that journaling RPG does. Trying to remember what it looked like. But yeah, like there were certain oracles that I pulled that kind of showcased like different things that were in the room. Um, so like different, like I remember there was like a bookcase with like really old books and like an odd language or something. That was that came from inspo from like a tarot card. Uh, maybe like ghosts were in the dungeon too. Oh, there was these like strange flowers that were growing as well. So yeah, it's a lot of fun to use that. So yeah. Um, let's see what else here. What I like most about your instructional videos is when you do a little bit of a gameplay to illustrate, helps understand things. Yes, yeah. I feel like with a lot of solo TTRPG resources, at least when I started out, I had a hard time trying to find like concrete examples of how people organize how they play. Because a lot of it was just like talk, which is great, or just straight up examples, but I didn't really understand like the structure of how they played. Like Geek Gamers, I don't know, like Lone Adventure, like they do a really good job of like explaining and such. But yeah, I really hope that like my content just breaks things down into sizable chunks that could be easy for especially newer players to just understand and grasp. So, all right. Well, okay. I think that is it, my friends. That is it for tonight's live. Thank you all for joining me. I really hope that this was helpful. I will end this here tonight. Feel free to leave comments, or you can DM me on like my Patreon, on Instagram. You can reach out to me on Blue Sky, whatever. If you guys have any questions. I'm trying my best to like respond right away on YouTube comments, but sometimes it's hard when there's a lot of notifications. So so just be patient with me. Bear with me if I haven't like gotten back to you, but I'll do my best to. All right, yeah. But thank you so much, my friends. Dungeoneers, adventurers, I hope you all have a good night. I really hope that this was helpful. And also a reminder, I pinned on the top of the chat, please enter into the holiday giveaway. This is just my way to give back to our awesome community, and big shout outs to Patreon members because they are um, helping me out fund this giveaway as well. So thank you all so much to Patreon members for funding the giveaway. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night and enjoy the process and journey behind playing TTRPGs solo. Have a great night, my friends. Until next time.